and welcome to another episode of the playonultra podcast. This is episode 140.
140. Is there anything special for 140? Not really. It's 10 away from 150, but...
Isn't there a video game called 140?
Yes.
I
I think it's like a puzzle game.
Yeah, I think I've played it.
I think you played it.
Something.
Is it one of those like first-person puzzle games?
Platformers?
I think it's just like a first-person like logic game. It's like not. It's
What
like
is the one
barely a
that
game.
What was the one that you really loved?
Portal?
No, the
I
other
was
one.
gonna say, but...
The other one. Like super abstract one.
Oh.
Like Doors?
The Doors? Wasn't there something called Cairo? I have it, but I haven't played it.
I
That's
don't
supposed
know
to be
that
like...
one.
It was like, I said I liked it, but it made me feel stupid. Because it was quite difficult, the puzzles. Shit,
I don't
what
remember.
was it? God damn
Oh,
it.
Antichamber.
Yes. That one.
I wouldn't know.
You idiot! No.
You idiot!
I renamed it in
Baka.
Steam. It's just dumb Char game.
if you play
That's a weird
any Jonathan Braid, is that his name? Jonathan Blow. Braid is the name of
Blow.
his game.
Jonathan Braid is it? We know exactly who you're talking about. The better name.
If you play Jonathan Blow games, you can feel stupid, and he also calls you stupid.
And he will laugh at you.
Oh, the
Double
game
the
break,
He
got it.
agrees.
Double the stupid.
My gosh, did you guys ever watch that movie about indie game developers?
Oh yeah, I love that
Didn't.
movie. I like
Okay.
putting it on as a background thing.
Yeah, it's kind of a good one to watch just because you're like, wow, these people are crazy. Like, the only people who weren't insane was, like, one of the developers of Super Meat Boy.
Which one?
And
The
he
fat
was
one
the
or the
only-
not fat one?
Oh yeah,
The fat
I
one.
heard that.
Edmund
'Cause he was
McMillan,
the-
yeah.
Yeah.
He's
But
like
he's
the
also
most normal.
he's the most normal. You'll also notice he's the only one with a significant other.
Yeah.
Gee, I wonder if the two are correlated. But I just remember when the guy from Braid, Jonathan Blow, was on, and I was like, what? Who is this guy?
But that movie,
just
the
going-
worst one was definitely
Phil Fish.
Fez.
Oh.
Fez guy. Phil
Fez
Phil
guy,
Fish.
I know. Fez guy was the worst. When we because we actually watched it for a class I was in, and I think so that movie came out, and it had been like 3 years since that movie came out, and I think Fez was now finally coming out. Like, we just found that out. We're like, wow, it's coming out this week on Steam. So that was really funny.
Yeah.
Oh,
I love that movie though.
Anyway.
And the soundtrack is super awesome. It's made by the guy who also made Super Brothers Sword and Sorcery
okay.
soundtrack. It's really good. I think I have it somewhere. So yeah.
I played through
Episode
a
140.
bit of that game.
I played a bit, yeah. It was on mobile. So what
Yeah, I didn't play it on mobile, which is kind of why I stopped, because it seemed like it would have been much better if I had played it on mobile.
Yeah. Seems pretty well built on the mobile version.
Yeah.
So what did you guys do? Sarah been away
Well,
for like
Yeah, I've been
2
away
months or something.
forever. So the main reasons I was away, what was I doing? Oh yeah, I remember now. I was being a theater nerd. So the first weekend I was gone.
What are
Yeah, I
video
was being
games?
I know. So cultured. But real quick with the theater stuff, I've already seen Wicked, but I went to see Wicked because my partner never seen Wicked before, so on stage, which for those who don't know is it's actually based off of a book, very loosely adapted from a book, but it's basically like the true story of the Wicked Witch of the West from The Wizard of Oz. So it's a more sympathetic portrayal of the Wicked Witch. And the music's amazing. There was a book that it was based off of. The book is very raunchy and adult and mature. The musical is not. It's very loosely adapted, yeah. But that's okay. Like, in the book, she has sex with a goat. The goat talks, so it's not that weird. It's sentient, but we're
It's
not
just
going to
like
go
Narnia.
there. Yeah, it's weird. Anyway, so the musical has nothing to do with that. So that was that weekend. And then I went to New York City to visit a friend last weekend. I got to see Anastasia on Broadway, which was awesome. I would recommend it, but if you are in love with the bad guy of that movie, whose name I can't think of
Which
at the
movie?
moment, Anastasia, the animated movie.
Oh, Rasputin.
Rasputin. If
Voiced
you're in
by
love with
Christopher
Rasputin...
Lloyd.
Yes. If you're in love with Rasputin, you probably will not like this musical because he's not in it. They decided to go a more realistic route with the show. Like, the story's pretty much the same, but instead, like, there's no magic. Basically, they went with the actual historical context, which is when the Romanov family was killed, like, communist Russia took over. So it's actually more about, like, communism in Russia and that kind of being a weird thing. Like, there's no real answer of who's the good guy and the bad guy. It's more of just, like, the systems that control us are bad. So, like, it's weird. But anyway, the music they added is great. I will say, because they changed that story, Dmitri, the guy, the husband, his story makes 10 times much more sense, because he's like, hey, I'm super poor and have nothing to eat, and they're closing all the trains, and I want to get out of Russia. How can I do that? Oh, let's try to find Anastasia so we can go to Paris. Makes a lot more sense than the original movie. So, that was super cool. So that was my theater stuff. As far as games, I haven't done too much on games, but for the live stream that I helped do with my partner, I was forced to play Monstrum, and that was a bad time. Do you guys ever play Monstrum?
No.
Yeah,
it's first-person horror survival.
It's that first-person, like, randomized horror game. Basically, you're on this...
Great.
Yeah, you're on. Well, the setting isn't randomized, but the items are randomized. So the idea is you're on this big, like, ship, and there's 3 different monsters you can have to deal with, and that's all randomized depending. Like, when you go in, it's like, oh, this monster's after you this time. And there are 3 ways to escape, but you have to get items for those escape routes, and the items are randomized throughout the ship. The problem is that, like, I am very jumpy, so, I mean, for the show, I was also, like, screaming for effect, but, like, I was like, ah! And, I did hold out for a very long time, for, like, 30 minutes. I was not getting anywhere. I was halfway to escaping, so I got 2 out of the 4 items. But I was doing a really good job hiding from this monster, and then I got stuck in a place where I couldn't hide, and so he got me, so that sucked. But yeah, so Monstrum was an experience, but... That's been kind of my weekends.
So, I got a new phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a Nokia 7 Plus, which is pretty like a nice phone.
Yeah.
So I was setting it up yesterday, and it's just so... I mean, that's the whole setting up a new device annoyance, but there's also the whole, hey, before we let you do the thing you want to do... read this thing that we have vaguely written so that we can take your data. And I accidentally said yes to one of them. It's so fucking annoying, and I have no idea how to say no to it. It's just like, they try to get you so many times too. And the button to say yes is like colored, while the button to say no is like a small little pixel somewhere in the corner.
Of course.
It's so fucking annoying. I feel like punching. But I've played a few games. Oh yeah, Sarah wasn't here. I bought the Switch.
Oh, you did it!
Mm-hmm. And I finished Mario Rabbids, and it's so fucking awesome, Jesus. I think I'm gonna get the season pass. freaking play like the... there's gonna be a Donkey Kong one. And I think one more, I'm not sure what the other one is. But yeah, it's so good. I love it. It's such a good game. I also played Snipper Clips. Guys heard of it?
I don't know that one.
It sounds familiar, but I don't think I know what it is.
I think it's an exclusive for the Switch. I'm not too sure about that, but...
Sounds like it would be.
It's you and a friend. Well, you can play up to like 4 people or 8 people or something, but you can also play like co-op, 2 people just with the 2 Joy-Cons, and you basically try to solve puzzles like... So you're like 2 pieces of paper kind of things, the 2 characters, and then you can clip each other to make certain shapes to, like, you know, or you want to hold the ball, make yourself look like a scoop, and then you can hold the ball properly, those kind of things.
Oh, okay.
It's fun. I really recommend it if you, like, you know, have somebody to play your Switch with. Super fun.
If you have friends?
If you have friends.
Got it.
Honestly, who plays games with friends? Like, seriously. I just play with my significant other. Yeah. This whole if you have friends thing, nobody plays games with friends.
That's how you get. Like, you might think you're playing with your friends. They're not. They're competition.
Exactly. They're no one is friends in Mario Party. They're just.
And I'm not gonna go to somebody's house just to play Snipper Clips. Fuck that. Okay, so this was the highlight of my week previously, but it got overshadowed. But I watched The Preacher, all 3 seasons.
Oh, nice.
It's so fucking good.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Season 3, the last episode,
Haven't
episode 10
seen
just came out like a week ago. And it's so fucking good. I love it. It's so good. I was kind of worried because I did read the comics and I really enjoyed the comics. And when I was watching season 1, I was like, wait, what's happening here? Because they were supposed to go on to the road trip,
They
right?
changed the order of things a little bit.
Yeah, so I was like kind of worried that they changed too much. I'm okay with changes. It's just like, I
Honestly,
thought it was a
I'm
really huge change.
plot changes I'm much more accepting of. The thing I'm a stickler for is like character changes. They need to
that's fair.
behave the same way to maybe different
fair.
things or not.
It's true. Because then it's not really the characters that you
That's not what I like.
familiar with. Yeah.
Yeah, the only hard thing is sometimes like it's so much easier in a like a book, for instance, to have characters that are really really fleshed out, while in a movie, like especially for side characters like that you can't. And I only know this as an example. My partner had a hankering for rewatching the Lord of the Rings movies, and so for example, Boromir's dad, who like goes crazy. I mean, when you see the movie, it just seems like he's just going crazy for no like he's just always been crazy. While I guess I never read the books, but I guess in the books it's more apparent that he was normal and then suddenly went crazy. So sometimes I think movies can suffer from that, but I agree with you.
Time
Like,
constraints.
yeah, it's just time constraints. But otherwise, yeah, like if he suddenly wasn't crazy at all, that'd be even worse. So
If he really wanted to fit everything, I think he would need to do like a trilogy for one book. Probably.
oh my gosh, don't
No,
tell
they
that to
did that
Peter
for The
Jackson.
Hobbit.
He'll do it. I sincerely
add crap.
believe that when like Harry Potter did the whole 2-parter of the final book, and then Twilight did it, and then I think some other place did it, that Peter Jackson was sitting there going, I could have done that, and then did The Hobbit. That's my theory.
I could go for more
Anyway.
Lord of the Rings. I didn't want more Hobbit.
Yeah, fair. I don't think any of us did.
I'm not sure
Hobbit
if
movies-
they have
yeah.
a contract to do season 4 for Preacher or not, but I wish they do, but I need to wait like another year. Oh, they do. Yes, they do. So that's good. Release date is apparently
For season
probably
4.
2019. Yeah, season 4. So yeah, I really love the characters. The two
Yeah,
angels
they're all
are
cool.
my favorite.
Is why I like them.
The two angels are my favorite.
I'm a big fan of. You talking about the angel of death? Or talking about the angel and the devil guy?
No, I'm talking about the one
I
that
don't
tried
actually
to
remember
get Genesis
actually.
back. The two cowboy angels.
Okay.
Those are really funny. Cassidy is really good. You
Cassidy's
sympathize with him a
great.
lot. Cassidy's great.
Irish vampire is always good.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just so cool. And the redneck family. It's just so redneck family. It's mostly on the redneck family in season 3. The Jesse Custer's family.
Yeah. Those
I
guys are
wasn't
crazy.
expecting. Yeah, I wasn't expecting to like it this much. Like seriously, I just binged. Weekends I just watched that. I didn't play anything, and like because I have Prime Video on my phone, I just downloaded the episodes on the Prime Video app, and I was just
Oh,
watching
is
it.
Preacher on Prime?
Yeah,
I didn't
All
know
seasons,
that. Is it free? Or is it like The Expanse you have to pay for season 3? 'Cause It's
you can
new.
actually. It's on Prime Video, so you pay the subscription, you
All
get
of
to
it.
watch it, but it's also
Gotcha.
available to purchase per season on Amazon.
Okay.
Like
'Cause
digital
The
ones.
Expanse is season 1 and 2 are with Prime, but season 3, even with Prime, you have to pay for.
What?
Yeah.
The fuck is
That's
that?
crazy.
I don't know why.
Prime's
they
been
can.
changing their things. I mean, now
Wait,
they have
isn't-
it that if you... Yeah, it's Prime's been weird.
Wait, is The Expanse a Prime exclusive?
I don't know.
Maybe not.
I didn't think it was.
Because The Preacher is AMC, right? I was surprised to see it on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I didn't. That's why I didn't know it was.
Oh, maybe Amazon Prime distributes it outside of America? Maybe?
Could be.
Because we can't get AMC here. At least. So yes, The Preacher. Go fucking watch it. It's so good. Jeez. Very gory too. It's really funny too. just made me laugh.
Did they? Yeah, like the what's his name? The Rorschach guy as like the butcher.
Oh.
The Rorschach guy. Who he plays again?
He's the bad guy from the Tick.
Yeah, the butcher guy, the cow guy.
So gross. Oh, so gross. That comic is right on that line of disgusting, but not purely for shock value. Sometimes it kind of is, but it's still like an interesting level. It's not just like this is pointless. It's always like, I don't know. There's always a little something behind it, like their character. It's kind of like Silence of the Lambs. It's like he's weird and creepy, but that's kind of like the point. Not just to get a reaction.
So have you watched season 3?
No.
Go watch it. Like seriously. Wait. Where do you watch it on?
I was watching it through other sites.
Oh, right.
But I will now use Amazon. Although I don't know if I have a Prime account still. I think I let it lapse.
Yeah, they've been changing it. They've been now.
They have. Yeah.
You gotta watch ads on Twitch now, even with Twitch Prime or something?
Yes, if you use Twitch Prime, you still have to watch ads. You have to do their like other subscription. It's
and
really
Amazon
dumb.
was like saying, I think the statement was like, "Oh, we need the money to maintain the servers, those kind of stuff," and like, the fuck, you're like the richest company in the world or something.
Yeah, like what money? Yeah,
you own the damn servers.
I know, right? I mean, it's whatever. Like, the only thing I really do subscribe to doesn't really even do commercials, so it's not that big of a deal, but it's weird. Like, what the heck, guys? So, I don't know.
And they are also doing away with the 20% pre-order.
Yes, they are.
So back then, if you had Amazon Prime...
Yep.
Yeah, so basically, when you had Amazon Prime, you can pre-order video games, and you get 20% off, which is a fucking big deal.
That's a chunk.
Yeah, it's $60, so you pay $48 instead of $60 if you purchase a full AAA game, which is a pretty solid,
Yeah.
And now instead of the 20%, they're just gonna give you a $10 credit to be used on the next purchase. I'm not sure if you can use the $10 credit on like a pre-order, so like you can do like a recurring thing
I
if you
haven't
want to
looked
do.
too deeply into it.
Yeah, I don't have Amazon Prime, so I don't really care. But
Yeah, I
it
have
sucks for
it
people
just
who,
Yeah.
Didn't they raise the price recently?
I think they did, yeah. It was like, because it's now like 120 something, because I got it.
$99 thing.
Yeah, it's not, it's 120 something.
Do they still have like the student one, which is what, $39, $49?
50.
Probably.
I think they do, yeah. I was curious about trying it again because technically my student ID doesn't expire yet, but I don't know. I don't know if they'll push for it. I don't know how they try to prove it because basically you give them your student email and it works for 4 years, so I don't know if I can keep using it or if they're like, nope, you already used it. I have no idea.
Can you guys choose to subscribe to services that you want? So like, I don't have Amazon Prime, but I can subscribe to Prime Video, which also gives me Twitch Prime. So can you guys choose
I don't know.
I only want Prime Video? Yeah, that's true.
Not that I know of. I mean, the main reason I have Prime up is for the Twitch Prime and also for 2-day shipping. But to be honest, because of how and also I kind of forgot to turn it off. Like I just had it automatically go on my credit card. Like I was looking at my credit card, but I was like, "Where's this purchase coming from?" Because it has a really weird way of phrasing it.
Yeah, it's like a long string of things.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's because it didn't say Amazon at all, so I had no idea. And then I kind of thought about it. I went, wait a second, and I went on Amazon, and I was like, it was Amazon Prime. Yeah. My plan is to eventually, especially if I start combining finances with like family and stuff like that, like maybe one of us will have an Amazon Prime that we all pitch for, and then just do that.
Like
because it's not.
Like I thought of canceling Prime Video a month ago. I put it in my calendar. Because I know if I don't put it in my calendar, I'll forget.
You won't do it.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think Amazon itself, you can set like a reminder or something.
You can. You can ask it to remind you like when it's about to charge you. I just forgot to get. Oh. Yeah, I noticed that too when I saw it got charged. I was like, it should be. It's not for a reason. That's how they get ya.
Yeah. So the thing that I don't want to say it outshined the Preacher. I think it's like the same level because Preacher is just that good. But I've been playing God of War. God of War.
The new one?
Wait, the newer one?
The new one, yeah. The one with the son.
Boy.
Boy.
I've heard it's good.
War. Oh, it's so good. I wasn't because okay, so I knew this was a different style game compared to the previous ones. That's why I got it, and because I do want to say I disliked the previous ones. I want to say I hated them, like legit hated the previous ones. Just felt really bland and boring to me, and it's all about putting your thumbs into the gods' eyeballs, those kind of shit.
Restooging the gods.
Yeah, or having sex with Aphrodite.
It felt very. What's that thing where you keep doing the same thing over and over again?
Masturbating. Repetitive.
That, yes, but also
Jeez.
God damn it, the word is escaping me.
I mean, there's a quote that's there's a quote
a
that's
game
saying,
repetitive, yes, god damn it.
Oh, I thought I said that.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I don't think he heard you because he just heard masturbating.
I only heard masturbate. Or did you say repetitively masturbate?
He said masturbating and then said repetitive afterwards, but you were laughing, so
yeah, I couldn't hear
think you heard.
So yeah, it was repetitive. I hated the puzzles. I hated all the platforming, jumping stuff, and
referring to older God of Wars.
Yeah,
the hack and slash ones. But because this one is like a more modern, over-the-shoulder, third-person camera kind of action-adventure kind of game, and throwing that fucking axe is so satisfying. God of War. Like seriously, the sound effects when he catches it is sometimes I just throw it and like catch it for no reason. It just feels so good. The story is really cool. Being in the Norse mythology, because there's so many things on Greek and Roman stuff. So
yeah,
I mean, like Egyptian probably gets the least when it comes to mythology kind of stuff, but Norse is like probably just slightly above that a bit. So.
In terms of coolness, or what?
In terms
of being used for games, although I would say...
Gotcha. Star's kind of stuttery for me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You guys just went totally froze on me just now.
Alright, we're back, though.
Okay. So, yeah. Play it, basically. One of you have a PS4, I know this.
I don't.
I have a PS4, but well, it's not mine, but... I have access to one.
Play it. So good. Yeah, that was my week, pretty much.
How was your week, Fo?
I don't know what I did. I played too much Monster Hunter is what I've done. I think I'm close to like beating it. Like it's not a game you can beat, but I think I'm close to like the final boss, after which point it becomes just beating harder versions of the same things over and over again to get stronger, which I'm probably not going to do much of.
Yeah, it's quite repetitive.
Yeah, well, it hasn't been too repetitive yet. Like, it's been within the realm of repetitive of, like, WoW and Warframe and stuff. But I think it will get more if I wanted to continue afterwards. Because I'm, like, Monster Hunter rank 18 or something, and it goes up by, like, one roughly every, like, story mission. But I've seen people who are, like, Monster Hunter rank, like, 140. I don't know how you get that high. That's really high.
They might just play a lot of co-op and just go after the...
Yeah, but I don't know what gives you rank, so I actually don't know. So I'm playing Monster Hunter. That's pretty much it, because I didn't have internet for like 2 of the 3 weeks, so I just played Monster Hunter offline because I could.
So how is it single player?
It's okay. It's definitely...
Is it more difficult, do you feel?
I actually don't know. I enjoyed it a lot single player because it let me experiment on my own. Like I didn't worry about messing up, and like everything was more controlled. Because like the problem with inviting people is it's faster, but I usually do less, which is sometimes good and sometimes bad. Like if people come in, like there was one like twice now fighting like a boss. I was like, oh, I was not prepared for this. But then some guy like joins in and he just like trucks the boss for him, like, yay, I made progress, even though I didn't really contribute that much to it. So it's nice to get
is the loot like
boosted.
Shared or like your own one?
It's everyone gets their own loot.
Oh, cool.
And it's equal loot. It doesn't scale with anything.
You basically just keep doing it to get stronger equipment, right? Pretty
much. For me, it's definitely like with Dark Souls and Monster Hunter. There's definitely an element of fashion, where it's like, there's some. If it's not the worst thing ever, I will fashion plays a factor. It's like I'm not going to sacrifice too much power for fashion, but I will sacrifice more than probably some other people. So just last night I was very happy because I finished getting the Odo Garen set, which is kind of like a wolf samurai suit of armor, which looks kind of cool.
Ooh, nice.
I like it.
Oh, is it one of those like the wolf head as a gauntlet kind of thing?
The wolf head's actually the mask in this one.
Okay.
But I'm going to get rid of the head part, replace it with an eye patch once I get the right bits.
Ooh, that's pretty cool. Wolf.
Yeah.
It has a story, right?
Yeah, it has a pretty good story. I like it. It kind of, I don't know why, but it gives me some Guild Wars vibes, just like from the level of like kind of tech they have and like the way the aesthetics look.
Right. I can see that.
I watch basically nothing. I've watched Venture Bros
Nice.
and Star vs. the Forces of Evil.
How is that show?
I like it more than Steven Universe, which is maybe blasphemous.
Seriously?
Yeah.
That's okay.
It's less mushy.
Oh.
Is it funny?
It's funny.
Okay. I feel like
It's a little more
comedy is
frantic,
important
maybe a
in
little
movies.
more ADD. But
Yeah, I was curious about it.
It
just
does-
because similar circles of Steven Universe, but
I mean, the art style is definitely similar, but it does the thing that like Steven Universe and Adventure Time do that I like, where there's not a ton of carryover episode to episode. It's very episodic, but there's enough like world building that carries over that like as you watch more, you're like, oh, okay, they did that because the scissors, like the magic scissors do this, and it's like it kind of like things go faster and bigger. So yeah, I'd recommend it if you like that style of thing.
Nice.
What else did I watch? I rewatched a couple movies I'd seen before. I watched Red Line, which is an anime like speed racer kind of movie, and I watched Peter Pan Goes Wrong. But I learned about a movie I need to watch called Never Too Young to Die. It came out in the 80s. And the idea is James Bond has a son, and then James Bond dies. So his son has to fight the James Bond villain. And the James Bond villain is played by Richard Simmons, the lead singer for Kiss. And I guess he uses his tongue to kill people. He's friggin' Richard Simmons. So apparently it's painfully unself-aware, but like of the level of like Miami Connection or The Room or that kind of thing.
amazing.
I need to check it out. Yeah, I've listened to this
podcast. Is played by
podcast.
John Stamos.
Yes, John Stamos is the main character. It's a lot of gymnastics, apparently. Homoerotic gymnastics for no reason. I've been listening to this podcast called Movie Crush, where this guy just interviews people about their favorite movies, and it's really fun to listen to people passionately talk about their favorite movie, even if it's not a movie that I think is good. Like, I listened to somebody talk about Popeye, the Robin Williams movie, and he was so into it. It's like, even though I've seen these movies, I need to rewatch them to try and like pick up these details that I missed. Like Clue, I need to watch Clue again. Or Platoon, I've never seen Platoon, so just these good movies. Because I watch a lot of bad movies. I don't watch a lot of good movies. I need to change that. And I also learned that...
Sorry, I was going to say, sounds like my brother with anime. I have made so many suggestions for good anime for my brother to watch, but he just keeps watching. He just loves, like, watching really crappy anime. That's just his thing.
Like Boku no
It's
Hero
awful.
Academia.
Not even, like, no, worse than that,
angry.
though. That's the problem. Worse than that anime.
I mean,
Like,
that's a good anime, people say, I think.
Yeah, people do say it's the popular anime right now.
I didn't like it.
But like, yeah, it's not my thing. The superhero schools for superhero thing I've seen so many times in so many different ways. It's hard to make it fresh for me. So
For sure.
But anyway, it always, have you noticed that they always happen in two ways, where they have the guy who's like a nobody at a school for superheroes? They always do one of two ways. Either like he secretly does have a power, in which case, okay. Or he's like, what is it? He's a nobody, but like he has the strongest heart or something. Like there's no
Yes.
there's no way to make this work. I will have to give Hero Academia some credit where they actually kind of decide to go like the in the middle road for this guy that's a little different from what I hear. So I guess I can give him credit for that. But still. Anyway, no, he watches worse stuff than that. Stuff that doesn't even get, like, freaking, dubbed over here. Like, really dumb shoujo slice of life things. And you're like, this is an anime concept? Like, they're awful. So bad. Anyway.
Anime hipster.
Kinda. Except he's not doing it because he thinks it's good. He just watches it because it's garbage. I don't know why he does.
And it's not even dubbed, so you gotta pay attention to it real closely.
Yep.
That's rough.
Yeah, there are times, because he starts out by just watching clips of them, and I'll be like, Robbie, what are you watching? Because all I hear are just the anime, all the anime girls in Japanese going, Kyan! Like, what are you watching on your phone? He's like, oh, it's random clips of this anime. I'm like, what anime? And are you sure about that? Anyway, that's that.
I fell behind I need to catch back up on, Cells at Work, because that was very good, actually. I think that's pretty much my week. I moved, obviously. I decided to put up posters and soundproofing and all the good stuff. Like right now, I'm surrounded by boxes and miniatures because I haven't set up any bookcases to set miniatures on yet.
Oh, jeez. Gotta get to that.
Yeah, that's what maybe this week I need to go out and buy like command strips and stuff. Yeah. We get to news.
We can get into some news.
Let's do it.
So,
do it.
Just start off with some simple stuff. Divinity Original Sin 2 has released the Definitive Edition. So it's free if you
Definitive
own
Divinity.
Yes. Definitive. Basically, if you already own the Origins of Sin 2, you'll get this for free. And the amount of changes is 50 pages long. So yeah, go read that shit. I'm not reading that.
That tome.
Alright.
Basically, it's a huge overhaul. I think this is also what the consoles will be getting. I think the Switch is getting this one. A bunch of dialogues rewritten, plots changed, a whole bunch of shit. So yeah, if you like this game, you can play a new version of it basically. Because I've heard like Act 3 is kind of weak and apparently they kind of rewrote it.
Oh.
And you can still, when you boot it up, you can choose classic or definitive. So that's cool.
Alright.
Star Citizen!
Oh yeah.
Gosh.
It's actually playable now.
Supposedly.
Yeah. Asterisk.
You guys know about the convention? Citizencon, is
No.
it? Something?
No.
Yep, so they're gonna have a convention, Citizencon. But because this is Star Citizen, of course it needs some controversy, right? Can't be, Star Citizen without controversy. So, previously, they wanted to charge you money to watch it online.
Whoa.
What?
I mean, you gotta pay the bill somehow.
They wanted to charge you $20.
That's how you promote your game, right? You sell commercials to people.
Yeah.
Because they're hurting for money. They didn't raise enough.
So basically, you gotta pay $20. You had to pay $20 if you wanted to watch it. But now they backtracked on it and said, "Oh, we will be cutting some costs, and then it will be free for current backers to watch it. You just need an account."
What?
Yeah. So, yeah, they wanted to charge $20 to watch a convention online. That's a first.
Okay.
I think that's
Wow.
a first.
The balls of these guys. Jesus.
The brains, the balls. One of these things is bigger than the other.
Oh, lordy. I just, wow. The more I hear about Star Citizen, the more I'm just like, how are people letting them get away with this?
Yeah, pretty much. How much they made so far? Like a few $100 million so far, probably.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, It's so depressing.
It's crazy. For an alpha version.
People are just getting so badly scammed and they don't even care.
I think the AAA industry is looking like, son of a bitch, they're worse than us. And people are
Right?
okay with it. Well, not everybody,
I know.
but you know what I mean.
Well, it's just awful because it's like they're not even trying. Like, they're not doing anything. Ugh, it's gross.
So yeah, Steam has announced that they will be they'll be having a new Steam Linux kind of thing, a Steam Play. So they're gonna have better, if you have Linux, you can play more games now. Pretty much. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Yeah, that's cool.
More games will be available on Linux. Okay, got it.
Which is really cool. I don't think they need the developers to create a Linux version. They're just doing like their own version of Wine or something.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Okay, that's cool.
Which is cool.
That is very nice of them.
Okay, so this one, I think Sarah might be more interested in. But you guys have heard of the game We Happy Few?
Yep.
Yes.
So, there was an interview in 2016. The reason why it got brought up again, I think because We Happy Few recently got a huge update or something, got released full price, whatever. I don't know. But anyways, We Happy Few, there was an interview with the creator of it in 2016, and he said We Happy Few is inspired by, among other things, prescription drug culture.
Oh. You can see it in the game.
Means they did a lot of drugs while making that game.
That too.
So people got pissed off, basically. The idea that no one should have to be sad if they can pop a pill and fix it. People were pissed off because they were like, oh, depression.
Right. I mean, it's one of those things that, like, because if they had not said that, like, I don't think anyone would have thought anything of it. It's like, oh yeah, that is kind of like how our culture's so obsessed with trying to be happy all the time. But now they're blaming it like on using drugs to help you out. So yeah, I could see why people were in an uproar.
Yeah. If you have depression, you just have to get over it. It's like so easy,
obviously. Man. Gosh, just like go outside and run. You're
just
fine.
Get over it, man.
You're right.
So yeah, I don't think I wasn't really interested in this game anyways, but I don't think I'll be interested in any other of the games that they might make. So yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I was interested. It seemed like just seemed like a cool concept at first. But then like I heard that it just I just like the concept of it. Like, oh, you have to be, I don't know, like those dual concepts I just always find interesting.
Like the themes,
yeah. And like if they had not said anything about the prescription drug thing, again, I would have just assumed it was the idea of more of actually a critical look at how our culture tries to be so hard to like only accept happiness and nothing else. That's what I thought it was about. And so like
simply viewing depression as simply being sad.
Right. It's funny because they're actually taking a backwards approach on it, ironically, by saying it's like a prescription drug like culture thing, weirdly enough.
Culture.
So, anyway. And so at first I was like, oh, this seems like a cool concept. But then I just heard that it wasn't that good. So I was like, I have so little time and I barely play games anymore. I wasn't going to spend any time on it. Maybe watch a few Let's Plays. But now I'm like, oh, come on.
Yeah. Apparently there are people who believe in a conspiracy theory that Big Pharma are pushing antidepressants.
There is some... God, I'm not going to get into it. There are supposedly some things that say that there has been research that covers up the fact that antidepressants, quote-unquote, don't actually help or do anything. That being said, it's one of those things that, like, I don't know, man. It saves some people's lives. I say, if that's what it takes to save somebody's life, then maybe they should take it. You know what I mean? So, like, I've gone a lot back and forth on it because I've thought of that too, because I have heard about that before and some research that's been, like, covered up and such like that. But at the same time, I'm like, you know, I'm not saying you should, like, if someone only takes medication and never tries to, like, see a therapist for maintenance reasons or make sure that their medication's being checked, like, that's not good. Yeah, but, like, you know, if you're getting checked, if you were seeing a therapist for a while, now you're using, you know, now you regularly have medication, so now you maybe only check in with a therapist and a psychiatrist, and this is what helps, then good for you. That's what helps, you know? So, whatever.
Yeah.
Conspiracy theories.
Bethesda tried to block a used game sale on Amazon.
Yes, they did. But did you hear?
I didn't hear this.
Well, it's a little weirder than that. Did you read into it? I just happened to hear about it.
I read into it. Yes.
Yeah.
They did come up with a statement.
Yeah.
This is Bethesda going through a third-party law firm kind of thing. Who on their website or something, they specialize in blocking sales of used items.
Oh, jeez. Well, this situation seemed to make sense if I recall correctly, but go ahead and read it.
Okay, so basically, so this guy, he bought Evil Within 2, I think, for the PS4 before he actually bought the console. So he decided, I'm not gonna get a console. Let me just sell off this used copy, but still sealed and new because I didn't open a copy. Right. So he listed it as new and sealed on Amazon as a private seller. And what happened was Bethesda or the law firm, whatever, sent him a letter saying, you better remove this or we'll fuck you in the butt, basically. And their reasoning is, obviously we all know that's not the real reason.
I know it's not the real reason.
Okay, so the real reason is, for people who are not watching the video, I'm doing the bunny ears. The real reason is, if you sell something as a new copy, you have to provide warranty. But you're not providing warranty, hence it is like a misadvertising kind of thing.
Yeah.
And makes us look bad, basically. Makes Bethesda looks bad.
Yeah.
Obviously, we all know the real reason. They want people to buy new copies because they want to make more money, but whatever.
Right.
But America does have that first sale doctrine thing, right?
Yeah, it's interesting because I mean, it is. I didn't realize that their law firm specialized in that. But I mean, how many used copies are sold all the time? They were able to target this one. And I mean, there is something to be said of making sure that, you know, they can't be assured that the warranty stays because it's not going to, kind of thing. So there is something to be said for that. I maybe tell him to rephrase his selling was probably be a better way to do it, but you know, nah.
So yeah, the company that they went to was called Voris, and on its website, there's an article titled "3-Step Approach to Stopping Unauthorized Online Sales on eBay."
Oh, huh.
So this is basically one of their specialties, blocking sales of pre-owned items. So yeah, Bethesda's not exactly like, you know, they've done a lot of like lawsuits and stuff. So yeah, it's annoying.
Yeah.
But everybody was like, oh, it's not Bethesda, it's the parent company. But actually, the founders of Bethesda was the one that founded the parent company, so it doesn't really make a difference. So
no, I mean, it's
one and the same, pretty much.
You could agree with Bethesda in this situation, but you can't say they're absolved of blame. There's a jump there, guys. So yeah,
that is pretty much all I had. There's one more thing.
Did you watch the Cyberpunk 2077 gameplay video?
I didn't watch the whole thing, but I'm excited.
I'm holding off, yeah.
I've only watched like parts of it, but I'm probably gonna get it.
I'm already gonna get it.
Yeah, like I've never played The Witcher 3, but like I know how good that is, and this is like a customizable, fresh world. Like it's gonna be good.
And it's
gonna be really good.
Oh, this reminds me, Char, if I was going to start playing The Witcher, can I just start with 3?
That is what I started with. And I honestly think to say yes, you can.
I think you can, from what I've heard. I think also one is, from what I've heard, one is so clunky you probably don't even want to play it.
The gameplay,
I heard that too.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably worth maybe looking up the wiki articles for them just to see what you're missing.
Yeah, there are mods, I think, to make the gameplay for The Witcher 2 better. I'm not sure about The Witcher 1.
I think that's true, yeah. Witcher 1, I think you're on your own, though.
Well, I was talking about it at work because I was like, The Witcher is one of those games where I haven't played it because I didn't know how silly it was or wasn't. Like, I always see videos of like people having sex on a unicorn, but then it looks like a really cool fantasy fighter outside of that, but I don't really know what to expect. And so I got a better description of it, and it's like, okay, that sounds
it's like,
pretty cool.
Basically, the world has character. It's not just serious and dark. I mean, it's super serious and dark.
And so many decisions.
Yeah, but they have a lot of characters, and his friends are all like colorful characters.
Yeah.
So it's a really cool world. and The Witcher 3 just made me fall in love with the franchise. I bought all the fucking books and everything. And if I ever wanted to play Witcher 1 or Witcher 2 or both, it's probably just wanting to go through the story, and I'll play it on like super easy mode or whatever.
Yeah. Just get through it.
Yeah. Because I do believe your decisions from the previous games gets brought over. But there's a point in The Witcher 3 really early on where you can make those decisions. Like a summary of the big decisions.
Okay. That was smart of them. I'm not surprised.
I think Dragon Age did that, but with a
they
website.
Did. Dragon Age 3 did that, because that's what I almost did, since at first, now I'm too stubborn, so I am trying to still finish. Mass Effect did it for 2, only for, it was just for the PlayStation people, because PlayStation never got Mass Effect 1. Then they made it that everyone could do it. They made it was a...
Sorry. There's also, like, I think Frog Fractions 2 also looked if you had a Mass Effect or Dragon Age save file. I can't remember what it did with it.
Oh, that's funny. I have no idea.
I think I remember something like that, yeah.
Yeah. You couldn't, they didn't, as far as I recall, there wasn't an equivalent for number 3, that you were just kind of stuck with either a save for Mass Effect 2 or, their default, which sucked. I mean, the defaults for Mass Effect 2 and 3, like, they're not worth playing. It's so bad. But mainly because you have no access to a really important character. It's awful. But yeah, for Dragon Age 3, because I almost did that, they do have like an online thing you could do. I was going to do that, and then I was so stubborn, I was like, no, I'm going to play all the games. And I still have, I'm almost done with 1, it's on the Xbox, so it's not really convenient for me to play, but it's where my save file is. No, Dragon Age. I finished Mass Effect.
Okay.
Because what I would have finished Dragon Age the same time I would have finished Mass Effect. It's just that the problem was that Dragon Age 1, I played the rogue class, which is like the hardest class in the game, and nobody told me. And so I could not get past certain parts of it. And so I kept restarting. And because at first I restarted because I was told, oh, you picked the wrong skills. Then I was told, oh no, the rogue class is just really hard. And so then I was the mage class, which is the easiest one.
Which game?
Dragon Age 1.
Really? The rogue is pretty strong. Which rogue?
In 1, it's not.
No, as in the bow and arrow guy or backstabber?
Either. They're not, the rogue classes, in number 1, the rogue class is not easy. You have no...
There might have been updates though.
Okay, maybe.
Probably.
Maybe on the computer, I don't think for the Xbox, maybe. Because when I was playing it, like, I'm not that bad at playing games, but I could not get past certain sections. And the mage class is infinitely easier, just because you can do so... Game. Yeah, because you can do so much damage from far away. Now I'm actually just on easy mode, just because I'm trying to get through it, and I keep forgetting to. Because once I get number 2, it's really fast and really easy. Then I can play for number 3 finally. That will take 80 years, though.
I find it's, I wouldn't say frequently, but not infrequently a problem sometimes in games like that, where the rogue class is harder because they're very stealth-based. But they forget to reward you for stealthing. So all the other classes kill the enemies, get the loot, get the experience, and the rogue class is like, I got past them.
Yeah, exactly. But then they're still there.
Yeah.
And so you do the backstab, and
then
you
there are
might
things you have to fight, like a boss. And it's like, well, I can't fight things.
Yeah,
exactly.
Deus Ex.
Deus Ex.
When it launched, it had that issue. But then they fixed it.
Yeah, and usually what can happen with rogue classes is that they can become very powerful later on, just because they can do so much damage later on.
DPS,
if once you can hit it, but like the curve is crazy. Like it takes forever usually to get there. But
it's funny because it's kind of like in D&D 1.0, wizards and warriors are the same thing. Or warrior power is a linear thing, and a wizard power is a logarithmic thing, and it just
exactly. Yeah, and rogues used to be kind of in D&D a little kind of a similar like logarithmic. Now they're more standard. In some ways, actually, like D&D 5.0 with rogues are amazing. Holy crap! They're fun to play. They're a little broken, but they're super fun to play. you can because they played up with the idea that you wouldn't be getting hit as much if you're actually a rogue. Right. So you actually get to dodge a lot more stuff, but it's fun. Anyway.
I saw a new game. It's called Shadows Awakening, and like it just released, and it's a isometric computer RPG, not an action RPG, I believe. And it's really cool. Instead of having a party, you can absorb souls of characters and change into those characters. Sounds really interesting.
Do you store them for later, or is it like a Kirby kind of absorption thing?
I think it's one of those you can change whenever you want kind of thing.
Nice. I was gonna say it was like prototype. Or that one you had like you ate a person that you were that person for as long as you were that person.
But that one was mostly for like disguise and those kind of stuff and getting the knowledge or yada yada yada.
Yep.
But this one sounds really interesting actually. This game.
Isometric, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it's a isometric tactical RPG, I believe. I'm not sure if it's an action RPG or a tactical RPG, but it's a $40 game, so I don't know if it's really good. Might be worth it. It's been getting positive reviews at least now, so that's cool.
That's cool.
Nothing else for me. I don't think there's anything else interesting. One small little thing. China is trying to curb
enthusiasm.
Time on. They're already doing that. They're trying to curb people's time on electronic devices, including like game devices. I'm not sure how they're gonna do that, but because they have that whole
giant
social
firewall
points thing.
Oh, that too.
You guys know about that, right?
Yep.
So, remind me.
It's like you have like a profile, and if you do bad things, negative points. So if like and then they
if
will
you
like
watched that
limit
Black
your travel.
Mirror
That's
episode about having points, it's that. Where your point system's used to influence like your credit rating and your ability to get houses.
No, it's I remember I talked with this because the visual novel I used to help for, they were going to use that as something as part of the story, so I'm familiar with it.
The particularly sneaky part to me is that your rating is influenced by your associates' ratings. So it incentivizes people to police themselves for you.
And make sure you're around good people, I guess.
Yeah, like hey,
Wait,
don't speak
Are you talking
up.
Are you talking about a Black Mirror episode?
No, I'm talking about in the China thing.
Oh,
the
right.
China thing. Like if somebody published a poem about overthrowing the government, all of their contacts' ratings would go down along with theirs.
It's like the neighborhood association. Yikes.
Are you sure it's not a Black Mirror episode?
Yeah. Or it's the community episode Meow Meow Beans.
So what were you saying about that, Char?
So they're trying to curb.
They might stop gaming.
They're trying to curb people's time on electronic devices, and people like nobody's gonna friggin' follow the regulations, but they have that social points thing, so they might find a way.
Yeah, they might find a way to do it.
And
Nature
because
finds
of this,
a way.
because of this news, the big ass publisher Tencent, the big games publisher, their stocks just fell. Like quite a bit.
Yeah, ouch.
Yeah.
I bet they're not doing so hot. Cell phone companies are probably also doing pretty crappy too. Because I bet they're counting cell phones. I have to imagine.
Book companies are like, yeah.
You're right. Book companies for once are doing okay.
There's a statement here. I don't know it's from the Chinese government, but I don't know who in particular. Parents should minimize the use of electronic products when they are with their children, the regulator said. The use of electronic products for non-learning purposes should not exceed 15 minutes and should not be more than 1 hour per day.
Whoa.
How am I supposed to finish God of War?
How are you supposed to do your homework?
For non-learning purposes.
Oh, non-learning. Okay. Sorry, I missed that part.
Learning how to play video games.
So just have Microsoft Word open, I guess?
Yeah, I guess.
While you play your League of Legends or whatever you play over there?
Yeah, like how precise are they able to do this? Like there's tons of websites you can go that are learning websites. Just
and
keep your if you have your
a lot of them
school
use
page.
VPN, so can they really like track it?
Probably. I mean, there's so many smart, people in China that are able to get around this.
Obviously, I do not want this to happen, but I also kind of want to know how they're going to do it.
I know, right? I'm just curious. And I want to know, how... I'm also just curious how people try to get around it. Like, what crazy things do they do?
I want to watch the real-world dystopia from afar. It's kind of too dystopic here already.
I know, it's way too I know, right? There are times I'm in this country and I'm just like, man, now I know, now I get it. Yikes. Now I get how you're just kind of going about your day while you feel like everything's on fire. We're not even that off. They're not even that bad yet.
Well,
anyway.
If you're on fire,
I shouldn't be laughing, but I know where you're going with this. Oh, it's horrible.
Verizon will help you just with extra fees.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, with extra fees.
Verizon,
so Verizon,
right?
yeah, Verizon did a shitty thing. So in California, I think there's still fires in California. I guess you could. Yeah.
Damn.
So there are fires in California. Everything's always burning in California. Yep. And so firefighters found out that, because they have to communicate, that all of a sudden they reached their data cap. They couldn't do their job because they didn't have enough internets, basically. And so, immediately their IT person contacted Verizon and was like, hey, dude, you put a cap on our data that wasn't in the plan. And the Verizon spokesperson to them was like, the person on the line was like, oh, well, if you want to have this much data, you got to have a plan where you pay so much more money. So that became public because the firefighters were like, what the hell? We literally can't do our job of putting out fires because you guys decided to change prices on us and put a data cap, which normally would have been illegal, but because I think directly as a result of the net neutrality being thrown down, Verizon can just do that now. But because, of course, it got horrible backlash, because, of course, they went to the news about this. I don't know how Verizon thought they were going to get away with this.
Well, it's also illegal to throttle emergency services. Illegal?
Yeah, I guess that's true, too. So they thought they could get away with it. So we went to the news,
I'm pretty sure they
basically...
will,
yeah, I think they'll get away. I think they'll get away with it. I know. This is America. Anyway, but then basically, I think Verizon came out and said, "Oh, we fired that person. Don't worry, we'll make sure they have
that one person."
Their fault. They're
that
the
one person.
It was the intern. It's always those damn interns. I love it when companies blame the intern. I was an intern. You don't give me that much. You never give me that much power. I always love that when they blame the interns. Your job is to supervise the interns. That's literally, if you didn't catch that mistake that they made, you're the one that should be fired. I have to laugh about that. But anyway, so I guess they supposedly rescinded all that, but it still happened. They had a data cap. It's so gross.
So yeah. That's it, I think. Unless you want to bring up that thing.
Actually, I wanted to bring up a different thing. A little shorter. So, Belgium declared that video game loot boxes are illegal under the gambling laws.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. So, Belgium's a tiny country, and most people forget it exists.
No.
Poor Belgium. But that doesn't mean it won't make some potential waves. So, one country was able to do it. I mean, it was a tiny country, but one country was able to do it, so... who knows? Maybe future will be bright for finally getting rid of loot boxes.
Or an ever-shifting definition of loot boxes.
Oh, okay. Realistically, yes, I'm trying to be positive over here.
Okay, sorry.
It is also the EU, so the EU as a whole might adopt it, but probably just the EU. So.
Yeah, EU's a little weird right now. Well, the EU's fine. Britain's not doing so hot.
And there are certain countries, I can't remember which, I think also EU, where you have to, I think they removed the whole gambling portion of it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Or you had to show what percentage of chances you can
explicitly
get
show
specific
the
items,
breakdown.
something like that. I think one of them was in China or something. I think it was China. Yeah.
United States, I think they're states by states are trying to do stuff, but nothing federal has happened.
Are video game companies, do they have lobbies for things?
I imagine
They've
must.
Gotta. Yeah.
They have
but
to.
For what though?
I don't know, because they don't seem to be doing a good job on other stuff.
Ratings.
I mean, what kind of stuff can they get out of it?
Well...
Lobbying?
Well, in the United States, they could get tax breaks, technically.
Yeah, or so they get stave off overregulation, like anti-loot box regulation.
Right. Well, that would be, I think, the big thing.
Or parental guidance, censorship. I don't know.
But the loot box thing is not that old, right? It's not that old.
Like they're more like anti-lobbyers, maybe.
I was gonna say there's probably more anti-lobbyers of video games with this. I don't know about other countries, but in the United States especially, rather than pro video game lobbyers. In some ways, I would say if you have a pro video game lobbyer, it's like EA, and it's not for video games, if you know what I mean. Or it's like Sony. Or Microsoft. So
yeah. Okay, just want to bring it up. The whole shooting thing at the Madden tournament.
right.
EA is hosting a live stream, and all the proceeds will go to the families, and they are also putting in $1 million that will go to the 9 families that's been affected by
That's good.
the shooting. So yeah,
That's good.
so
I'm
yeah,
glad
EA.
they're doing something.
Yeah.
It's a tragedy. I mean, when I heard the news, it was like I didn't really even know what to really say. I mean, it's hard in the United States these days because, like, I don't mean to sound callous. I do apologize, but we've had so many mass shootings that at this point it's kind of like, oh well, thank God it's not here. Like it's awful, but it's almost kind of become that. It's just especially like I actually did kind of freak out at first when I saw there was a mass shooting because my partner was in during that weekend was doing a major thing for the Rocket League tournament in Connecticut. So when I first heard there was like a shooting for an esports tournament, I was like, but it wasn't. It was a different thing, obviously. But like, I don't know. It's just the only thing I can say, and I'm not gonna jump on the whole bandwagon of like, even though I'm a mental illness person, I'm not gonna jump on the whole bandwagon of like a mental illness problem because it's much more than that, as we all know. But like I will say that apparently reports have come out and say that this was a person who was a jilted loser for something, and it's just like, I don't know. Esports everything always gets competitive, but
yeah, I think
watch
he
out for your
lost a game or
Yeah,
something.
he
and
lost
he got kicked
a-
out of the
he
tournament
lost
because
a-
he lost the game.
yeah, he
And
lost
he came
the,
back
like
with
the
a gun or something.
yeah. I don't know if he lost a game in that tournament or if it was a previous tournament that meant going to this tournament, you know what I mean? I don't know which it was, but I mean, it's nothing. It's only a band-aid, but if you're in the esports, just watch for your friends. Maybe check in on them or something. Just like
Yeah, I've heard.
maybe as a culture
I've
be
heard
better
of
about
cyber cafes in China or Southeast Asia somewhere. People lost a game of Dota or something and got stabbed.
yeah, like
Well, Counter-Strike, something like one of those games.
yeah. I mean, any kind of competitiveness always brings out. I'm not saying that's. I mean, America has its own issues when it comes to guns. Let's just leave it at that. But like, I don't. And just in general, I think that whenever anyone gets competitive, it's always and with something like video games where you're already tapping into someone who probably was, feels a bit like I was a nerd growing up and now I'm doing something acceptable, but now I'm bad at it and lost at it or whatever. Just. I'm hoping there can be some camaraderie that comes out of this where it's kind of like, instead of just focusing on only the competition, I mean, people have also done stupid crap over
I'm just
sports, but...
wondering how he got into the venue with the thing.
Well,
It was like
unfortunately...
a mall, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I mean,
I thought it was
I
like
don't
a small
think there
little
was...
stadium or something.
No, I don't think it
big
was...
a tournament.
Yeah, it wasn't that big of a tournament. It was not that heavy security. In fact, actually, one of the
I
victims
don't think you're
is
supposed
suing...
to need it, though.
Oh, no, it shouldn't.
Yeah.
But once again, we're getting into America's problem with guns, but that's not my purview, apparently. Sarcasm. But apparently one of the victims is suing the location and EA for not making it. Yeah. I don't know what's going to come.
Tragedy has to have that.
Lawsuit.
Yeah.
There's like a word for them, like consolatory suing or something like that. Where it's like the
Yes,
school,
yeah.
we're gonna sue the school because they didn't stop the bullying, which is the thing. It's like
Right.
they rarely win, but there's always at least one.
Yeah, and that's the only thing. It's like, what's going to be the result of this? I guess we'll find out. That's my only problem. I'm like, oh, geez. To me, of course, personally, I think it's attacking the wrong problem, but...
Yep.
This is America. Okay. But yeah, very unfortunate. Definitely... There are some organizations that are raising money for victims of the families, so I don't know the links right now, but... For those who want to do more than the thoughts and prayers, there are things you can do out there for that.
So yes, you guys want to bring up anything else?
That's all I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just
stop
gonna
here.
I've kind of head in the sand lately, so I'm out of touch.
I'm just gonna be playing God of War for the next couple of days. It's my thing.
I'm gonna try to get my channel back. I've been going to the Renaissance Fair that's in my area. I've been
How long
doing
is this fucking Renaissance Fair? You've been talking about it for like 2 months. Has it ever closed down?
I've been going to 2. That's why.
Oh, right.
I went to 1 across state, and now I'm going to my hometown one, and I got the season pass. That wasn't the plan, but I decided to get the season pass, so now I have to go at least
Season
4
pass?
times.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait.
So I have to go at least
long is
4
it set
times
up?
to make the tickets worth it. Huh?
How long is it set up usually?
I think it's about 7 weeks long.
That's damn long. I didn't know it was that long. Jeez.
Yeah, and they're on weekends. Although, so
it's
America
not an everyday
has
thing.
Yeah, no. It's only on weekends. Although it's going to be on this Monday, but that's because the United States has a holiday, Labor Day.
Yeah.
So Labor Day's coming up, so they're also doing one on Labor Day too. But yeah, so I'll be going to that this weekend. Again, I just like dressing up and going, and it's just fun. And you usually get drunk because there's mead.
I've never tried that.
Good.
I really want to.
You make sure you get good mead. I have found it's really easy to get horrible mead. I've only found one mead type that I like so far. That's from Michigan. And I tried another mead somewhere else, and it was god awful. So be careful. But if you like sweeter things, like if you like kind of like sweet wine tasting kind of things, it's good. Yeah.
It's like sweet beer, kind of, right?
Yeah. It's probably more. I think mead is more of a wine than a beer, as far as like the kind of alcohol it is.
The way it's processed, yeah.
Yeah, I think because it's
yeasty.
like no, it's honey.
Yeah.
That's just what makes it addictive. And they have a type at the Ren Fair that is pumpkin spice mead.
Of course.
Yeah, and it's really good. So I get it every time.
We don't
and
get
it's
that
dangerous.
Here.
Huh?
Like the whole pumpkin spice thing never really happened here.
Yeah, I mean, it's whatever. I don't know why it became
I
such a
try
big
it
issue.
though.
I don't like coffee, but I mean, if you're able to, it's good. Like if you like, it's kind of that fall. Do you guys have fall in Malaysia?
We have no seasons.
I was like,
it's wet and hot depending on the day. Depending
I
on the
didn't
time
think
of the
so.
day sometimes.
you gotta come to like somewhere in the Midwest where we're having fall. I think you'd really like it. It's a crisp feeling. I don't know how to describe it.
It's really
not
humid here, and I don't know anything else other than humid. So I literally don't.
It's autumn's a nice time of year. Sadly, it does not last very long in Michigan, but it's like one of the best times of the year in Michigan is fall weather because the air's kind of crisp. It's not snowing yet. It's not super hot. It's kind of just sweater weather as we call it. The leaves are changing, so everything looks super pretty. It's a good time of the year. Then the snow comes and we all cry, but
Never seen snow. Okay, so yeah, this has been episode 140 of the playonultra podcast. Do the thing.
Hey guys, you can find me under Sarahscopic, SARAHSCOPIC. I'm on YouTube, which I need to update my videos on soon. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter. I also help out with my partner over at Checkpoint Radio, so
On
you
Twitch.
might see me there too. Yes, on Twitch. So you might see me do stuff
like
on there too.
Talk shows, right?
Yeah, well, they're technically a radio station, but they do podcasts
It's in the name.
Mm-hmm. So they do mostly esports, but they do general video game news. Whoa. Sorry, my computer just went off for a second.
Oh.
We're good. But yeah,
So
that's me.
do they stream 24/7?
Not 24/7, but they do stream something every day. They have so they have their main show basically that's on Wednesday nights, and then each of the people that are on there kind of have their own streaming schedule.
Right.
And so every other Tuesday, because my partner's part of it, she and I do a show that we call Loathe at First Sight, where we just make each other play either horrible games or just games that we know the other person will not like, basically. So that's why I was forced to play Monstrum, because I don't like horror games. And I'm going to force her to play I'm hoping to try to get her to play one of the first Nancy Drew games, which I love that game series, but the first game sucks, and I know she's going to hate it, so it's going to be great.
I think my worker QA'd some of those. My coworker.
Really? Oh, that's cool. Yeah, her interactive has kind of gone downhill and hasn't done anything. I don't know what's happening to them, but they used to make the Nancy Drew games, if you were looking for like a good point-and-click mystery game, they had some really solid ones. But I'm biased. I was a huge fan. That's me.
That story runs. There's Michael Nelson of MST3K fame has a podcast where he reads books he's pretty sure he's gonna hate. Like he recently did Ready Player One.
That's funny.
Did he hate it?
But I didn't listen to it yet. He probably did.
Wait, is it on YouTube or a podcast or something?
It's a podcast. I'll have to look up what it's called again. I just found it like yesterday. I'm Foehamner, and I'm pretty much just on YouTube and Twitter, but pretty much just YouTube. I took a 2-week break, so now that I have internet, once I get my room set up, hopefully I'll record something this weekend and resume stuff next week. Maybe let's record with this anyway. I don't know, how echoey do I sound right now? Because it sounds echoey to me, but I don't know if it picks up
a
on
little
the mic.
echoey. I think it's a little echoey.
It's
more
a little
than
bit
usual.
more than usual, but it's fine.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I mean, you could make it work for your recordings, but it's more than usual.
Cool.
And what about you? Char.
You.
I am Pupunoob, Pew Pew, and Ruby everywhere. Is the name of the podcast Like Trees Walking?
That's a weird name that I think I'd remember.
It is a very weird name. So yes.
Mike Nelson podcast gives me 372 pages we'll never get back. That's what it's called.
Alright. Okay.
Okay. So yes. This has been episode 140 of the playonultra podcast. We will see you next time. Boy.
Bye-bye.
Bye.